Hello again, everyone. It's BDB SSB again. I want to show you a cool little trick I found today. Well, I shouldn't say today. I'm going to show you how to do this cool little trick I found. This is a similar idea. What I'm going to do in a roundabout way is, I'm sure you've seen a lot of mods out there that do like this thing where they show chrome, silver, and so on. Like you hit the chrome and it changes. What it's doing is actually changing the material and using a color. Another example, I know Beck's modding. I talked to her quite a bit. She'll do in the main color grid here, she'll have here, it'll say like candy red and something blue, and it's actually changing materials in the lines and in the color. But what I'm going to show you is, I think is very cool. I have not seen before. I come up with the idea and I couldn't quite get it to work. I was stumbling around, dogface, figured it out, and then I found a way to actually tune in a little bit more, because what I have done is I've actually made the materials so they're actually scrollable, not having to choose off that color grid like I was showing on the tank wheel. So what's cool about this is, right now, if you've done any kind of color in Chrome, most of you know that white is the default color you want to do for Chrome and stainless. So basically, just by changing material right now being white, when we go to Chrome, you can see you actually have Chrome, stainless, I'm doing brush, which is like a scratched steel, and then plastic, which I use like a leather because it gives a little more texture. And then the cool thing about that is that's just your material. Then if you want to come into your color, say you want it to be a blue, when you scroll through here, you're getting the chrome, the painted, and the stainless with your materials, but your color's not changing. So the nice thing is we have 5 different materials up here, which you can do. I don't know what the limit is, probably 30 or 40, probably 39 if I had to guess, on your actual config types. You could do all kinds of materials. You could do wood if you wanted to, but the cool thing is you're scrolling that material here and still just changing your color on this line, like so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I come up with that idea and show you how to do it. Another cool little thing I found is, I don't want to go to that yet, is I have a command list. The Easy Dev Tools does a lot, but the one thing it does not do is let you do configuration changes in your XML and reload it. I found that in, I think it's store. There's a store items reload, and this list is on my Discord in the commands channel, I believe. It's simple to find my Discord. You just go to my about in the YouTube channel and tap on the Discord. It'll give you an invite. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a stripped down version in like so, replace file destination. Now to show you what I'm talking about, if we get out of here and go back into the store, it's still going to show, even though I changed that XML, it's still going to show all that information. But if I go in here and I do the store items reload, hit enter, bam, it gets rid of all those configurations because I put in a stripped down version of an XML. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that XML in, and I can get rid of that command list for now, as I'm going to go for base material, if I can spell. So we're going to start right out with this. If you know anything about color in your XML, you know you have to resource or basically call it out in your base material section. Almost all of your coloring is done. If we go into find in files, I did a short little video how to use this. It's kind of nice. If we do base material config, we're going to find an actual section. In fact, I want one that has use default colors, like so, because I do want that to be false. So copy. We're going to come below the base material, put in a couple lines, paste it in. So I don't really care. We can leave the price in there. It doesn't really matter. Now we want material to be the mega front tank. Control V. I like this line to be up top. It's just something that's usually standard. I've never seen it where it wasn't, so we'll put it back up there. Now we do want color material 0 because that is the tank. I've separated these out to explain them. 0 is the tank, 1, 2, and 3 are attachment level and caps. We could do several materials. I'm going to show how to do a secondary. Unfortunately, the only thing I can find so far is to get one material to do the scrolling function. I will show you how to add them tabbable, so that's just material and then color. We'll get into that in a little bit. I just want to show you how to do the scrolling first because I think that's kind of a cool idea. So let's get rid of these two lines. And as I was saying before, I keep getting off track. We want color, material 0, mega front tank, that's good. And then we're going to add in our materials. So we're just going to simply go like so. I don't see an actual material down here. I could just type it out, but for the heck of it, material, let's just go equals, find in files, find all. That way I can just copy the line, that way I don't mistype something. I'll just copy like so, can close that out, and Control B. Because that's all we want is material in this section. We don't want to do color, we don't want to do anything else. We want default false because we don't want to be picking off of 39 grids like it's typically done. So I'm going to copy this line. We're just going to do 5. So let's go Control C. So there's 4, 6. Get rid of a line. So materials, again, I have on my Discord. Maybe I'll try to do a link on this one, but here's a cheat sheet that someone shared on my Discord, and I can't remember if it was Raleigh Chris or who it was. Looks like Blaine 582. This is basically just showing you a cheat sheet for all your different materials. These are more or less used in Blender for your 0 through 7 color material channels. This actually gives you a visual of what they look like and the material numbers. I need a little better image, but this is the best I have right now. So example, if you wanted wood, it'd be 14. But what I want to do is I want to do painted metal. I want to do chrome, which is 2. And what's really weird is stainless is kind of all over the place. It's not really a stainless in the game, but for the most part, for wheels and stuff, they use copper and then they just paint it white to get you that, like I had said before, you want white to make chrome or any kind of steel. So anyway, I'm going to use 3 for stainless, and then I use this scratchy circular brushed, or it's hard to see in that image. Again, I need to find a higher definition of this, but it's like a brushed steel, I call it. And then again for plastic, I think I had said before when I was showing you guys, I use a leather. It just gives it a little more texture because plastic just kind of takes the sheen or the gloss away, as you can kind of see in this picture. I want to give it a little bit of texture and use the game shader to do that. So again, back into the XML, keep getting off track here. So like I said, we're going to go painted steel, chrome, we're going to do 3 for stainless, 45 was the brushed steel, and then 13 is going to be our plastic. So this is basically going to take that material with the color, everything in the color material 0 UV area, and it's going to give us these different options. Now, rather than using the tabbed colors, I talked about using the scroll, what we're going to look for is configuration sets is what it's called. And I did something wrong. Configuration. It's not just config sets. Oops, can't type right either. Get rid of some stuff off my screen as well. Let's just configuration sets. Oop, idiot. That helps if I go finding files. Sorry about that. We'll get it figured out. So configuration sets. Here's one we can grab. We're not going to use all these lines, but I like copying this stuff because then you have less chance of typo issues, which I am good at. I'm going to put above the base configuration or base material configuration as well. We're going to get rid of all of them but one for now. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to get rid of all of them but one line. We could do the callback. I don't want to get into that right now too much because it's going to take extra time and I have to mess with the mod to script. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to call this tank material. So what it's going to do is going to look at this configuration set as a scrolling option, and it's going to look at the base material. So if we actually copy that, so it's actually configuration, but we only want the name of the configuration here. So simply it's going to look for base material index 1, which will be this line. We want to do 5 of these, and I'm trying to remember configuration sets, and then each set itself should even have, yeah, there's a name. So where it gets confusing because there's title and then name. So actually we're going to grab, or no, I'm talking out my, yeah, right here's the name, sorry. Here's the name, Control C. So the actual set, and that's where I'm already messing up. This is actually going to be, sorry about that. I don't get rid of all my mix-ups and mumbling because then you actually see my mistake. So this is going to be the configuration set name, which is going to be the painted steel. The name of the sets would be title, which would be like this guy. Bring it back in here. Paste that in, and that's going to be our tank. That's where it gets a little confusing. There's title and name. They bounce things around on you. So this is going to be our tank material, like so. Alright, so let's get rid of that one. We don't need that one. So now we have tank material, which is the name of the configuration sets, and then we have configuration set, our first one, looking for index 1, which is the painted steel. So basically how the index work, it doesn't go back to like nodes where it's 0, 1, 2, 3. It goes index 1, index 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on if you had more. So what I want to do, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, is I want to do the same thing. I want to copy this, paste it. That gives us 2, 4, 6, and again we don't need 6. It would have been easier if I had just done 6 materials, right? So we want to come in here, we're going to go index 2, index 3, index 4, and index 5, and then we want to do our second section. Get rid of that so we have more screen here. So once again we have painted steel, chrome, and so on. So we want to do chrome. We want to do stainless. This one's going to be brushed. And this one will be our plastic. So once again, to explain this, you got a configuration sets, which gives you a scrolling option. It'll be called tank material. The first one will be painted steel. Second one will be chrome. Third, stainless steel. Fourth, brushed steel. Fifth, plastic, and it's pulling those from index 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the base material configuration, because this is configuration sets, and this is where, not to confuse it with the base material up here, is where I was having my issues. I was trying to config this when this is actually the callback to pull the materials. It's not confusing, but it is. Because most of the time when you have configurations, that's how they do it. You would get rid of this base material, and this would be called base material configurations. This is where I was getting myself messed up until I actually looked at the vehicle HTML file and actually, okay, this is where this configuration set comes in, and I need to actually the base material configuration. So anyway, yeah. If that isn't confusing enough when you're trying to go back and forth trying to figure out what you did wrong or what you're doing correct and not having the right results, it's very, very frustrating. So we're going to save this, go into the game, and again, if we just do this command like so, bam, see, we have our tank material now. As you see, there's no color yet because we haven't added that in. So you have your chrome, stainless steel, brushed, plastic, painted steel, back to just looping around, as you can see. So anyway, there's no color yet, so we need to add that in. And by default, and you're just kind of lucking out here, by almost every vehicle, unless they've added in the red line, by default here is your grid. It's going to start out with a white. So that's why it went default to a white, if that makes any sense, to make the chrome actually work. Now, here's the other little issue I ran into. I like to have these labeled, and again, you're better to do it a callback and do translation. That way, if someone that does French, German, or whatever, they can actually tell what this is rather than not knowing what, you know, if I just type in manually, they're not going to know what tank material is unless I know English. So I do typically do the callback to 10LN, but just to save some time here, I'm not doing that. So we've got our base material configurations that gives us our actual material. So now we're going to add in a design material configuration to actually color this. So again, I'm going to hit Control F, find in files. We're going to go design material and search real quick, and here is design material configurations. So we can just double click on that, and these are like excessive. I don't really need that many. Doesn't matter, we just have a lot more to delete. So let's copy that line, and we'll come right into the bottom of here, paste that in. Again, I'm not going to mess with charging a price. I'm not going to use default. Default color index is, I believe, a way you can actually make the first color, and I think 0 is the white, but I'm not going to use that. Now we are going to use default colors true on this guy because we want to use all 39 colors. And then for title, it's typically called base color, but I want to actually call this, we have tank color or tank material above, I want to call this tank color. And then we're going to do the material. Again, it's kind of odd this one's on the bottom like that. I don't know why. I've always thought maybe I messed it up somewhere. I like to have the material on top, just the way I function, because the material is what controls everything. So we want the name of the material again. We want the shader parameter to be the color material 0. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something quick. If we don't add a custom color in here, it's annoyed me for a long time too. I found this out just by messing around by accident. When we reload this, it's not going to give us a title. It's frustrating to me why it does this. See how it's just saying design color, and it's just going to give you, again, it's just going to be the typical 39 colors. So what I figured out I had to do is I had to have a custom color in here. And because this guy by default is hardy yellow, we're just going to copy that line, paste hardy yellow, hardy red here, and then I want to do shared white. To find that, I'm going to go into the brands just to, oop, I'm in the wrong file. I want brand color, and that is actually in the 22 files. Data, vehicles. Well, somewhere here I know it is. Oh, it's under shared brand colors, Control F. White. I know it's shared white, which is what everyone usually uses. Of course, it's going to go all the way down, because shared white 2 is what I think is, right here is your numbers, and that's the highest number. So 111 would be completely white. Shared white 2, I believe, is the whitest color that is available. So that's the color I want to do here to give me the chrome. And I want the white to be first still, because of the chrome option. It's a little confusing to people if it's not there first. And then I give the option of the hardy yellow and the hardy red. And I got the I got the names and the colors mixed mixed around here. So this is actually going to be, I want to show you this quick as well. White. Actually, I can just go name. Control C, Control V, Control V. And just to show you something here, why you add these in, and this is going to be yellow. I'm going to get all out of whack here. I want cramp yellow and cramp red, or it's not even cramp. I want the hardy yellow. I just was putting them in the wrong spot. And hardy red. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. There's yellow. Red. Okay. That was a whole lot of confusion for nothing. In fact, I don't... Yeah, it's fine. Color white would be fine. I do want to show you, I keep mumbling to myself and going back and forth here, what that actual command does. So when you go into your tape colors here, see how it's down right there, see how it's saying the name white, yellow, red, and so on. Well, if I was to come into this line and get rid of that white, I hit save, back in here, reload. When we go into here, when we hover over that white, see how there's no name down there, and I like to have that kind of named. And there is a way to do brand names as well. You can just simply type in the name, but there's params you can do, and I'll probably get into that on another video. You can actually do a whole line of stuff where you could have like John Deere green or John Deere yellow. It won't let you put brands in, but you can physically name stuff and then add in colors with the callback here. It's a little more advanced on that side. Anyway, as you can see now, we have our painted steel, brush steel, and all that still up there, but then when you go to your tank color, that's when it's giving us the options that we added in, and we have tank color. Is why I went through all that to begin with anyway, is to show you that you have to have actual configurations down here to actually get that title to pop up. I think what it is from the Giant side is rather than adding code in, it's not being used because there was no configurations. It's not going to use that title. Once you add a configuration in, then it's going to throw that title in there. So sorry about going 5 minutes off track there to explain that simple thing, but I just wanted to show you do have to have some kind of color there. And again, I wish, rather than having to put in 39 colors in there, I wish there's a way I could omit half these white colors, because obviously you don't need all these colors that are about the same, especially if you're going to be doing chrome. Now it does look kind of cool, but anyhow. And see, you can see a little bit better there on the light and the black where it has a little bit of texture with the plastic. Because if I was to actually go in and do, say, instead of 13, I think painted plastic is 1, hit save, come in here, reload. It just, I don't think it looks as good. It gives you just a dull color, but it doesn't really give you that texture. I really think that 13 looks really nice. So we'll go back in, save. And plastic. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got that done. We showed how to use the configuration sets to call your base materials. And then we've got the colors coming off the design material configurations. I think you can do up to 8 design material configurations. So basically, when the game's open, don't do this file, and I literally copied it out for that reason. But if you go into data, and it's this word, most time you go into data again, but right in the main farming simulator folder, you go right into, can't talk here, right into 22, and then go directly into shared. You've got XML documentation. This is where you can find a lot of information on what can be done. Once again, don't open it with the game up. That's why I copied it out. So let's see if I can find, let me get rid of that. I actually have it down here. If you try to open this up in Notepad++, if anyone else has a good program for this, let me know, because I am not a fan of opening this up in a browser, but that's the only way to make it look correct. But if we hit Control F, I gotta get this screen out of the way. While we're on here, Control F, there we go. And that Control F usually works for about every program I know to search. If we do design, material, as you can see right here, it's weird how it alphabetizes it. So design material is going to actually be all the way down, but it starts at 2 then, and it goes all the way up, I believe, to 8. So there's 3. That's going to make a liar out of me. I thought there was up to 8, but maybe that's just designs. Yeah, design configurations, and that's what I was trying to use. I cannot get that to work with the tabbable, right? For some reason it won't change material. So you are only allowed 3 total design material configurations, so that's good to know. But yeah, as you can see, it starts out with a 2 and then it comes down to the just design material configuration. But that gives you an idea how many you can do. So we are limited. I was thinking it was 8, but I'm incorrect. That's the design configurations, which once again puts you into a scroll function. It works good for visibility, but for some reason I cannot get it to change material. I could get it to change the material and color like I was showing you on the rims, but I cannot get it to do just material like we're trying to do. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a design material configuration 2, and since we already have the basic setup, I'm just going to copy that, come down a couple of lines and paste it in, and then we're going to call this one trim material. Now we want to add in, I think there was 3. So up here in our base material, you have 1, 2, and 3. So we have our attachment, our level button, and our caps. We don't have to do all of them, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the 1, 2, and the 3. So I come back down here. We got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add a line. Now we need to make sure we add this 2 in here. Design material 2, 2, 2, and 2. We actually don't need these lines. How in the world I messed that up? Because again, this is just going to be our material selection. Now here we don't want default colors. That'd give us the full 39 again. So we're going to put false in here. I actually needed those lines. I don't know why I'm having a brain conundrum here. Because here we actually do, because we're not going to be using the scrolling function from the configuration sets. Like I said, I tried using design configuration and it scrolls, but I just could not get the material selection to work. So we're going to have to do the tabbable this time, which is a little bit different. So we're going to have, I got to remember how I did this now. So we don't need color. We just want material. So we're going to do this. Control C. Paste that in. Paste that in. And we need 5 of these. So if we're going to do the same ones, I can actually come in and go like this. Copy that. Paste those in. So again, it's going to be painted steel, chrome, and so on. So here we have to do the name. So let's grab this name as well. And we're going to call this painted steel. And this one was the chrome, whoops. And then we have stainless. Steel. And this is brushed steel. And then this is plastic. Okay, so if you just want it to be the basics, what's going to happen is it's going to have like white, gray, silver, and just go on the darker side, which is fine. If we hit save, come in here, reload. So as you can see now we have trim material, and now instead of having the scrolling, unfortunately we do have to click on here and see I got to go in there and fix it because it is showing all the, I must not have got the false in there correctly. But as you can see right now it's named painted steel, chrome, stainless steel, brushed steel, and so on. So if we go to brushed steel, you'll see, and by the default it's going to be white because we haven't set the color up yet. But I'm a little confused on why design to, oh, I thought I had false in here. I must have been jabbering along, and probably when I did the Control Z I got rid of that. So now when I come back into here, now when you come in here it's only going to show the options. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again, not a big deal. If you want to have those different colors, I found a cool little trick. It's UI color, I believe. So if we go find in files, UI color, instead of being callback name, it actually is going to show a color. So say you wanted, so let's grab this line, come in here, Control B, Control, oops, Control V, oops, I'm doing that wrong. So usually they'll do like a silver or something like that, but say we just want to do something different. Let's call this the shared white, which is usually the default. I think there is a silver is what they'll usually use, so let's just do shared silver. And just for the heck of it, let's use a John Deere. Oops. So let's do John Deere green. And let's just do IH, or actually steel orange. What the heck? What this is going to do is it's actually going to make those tabs that color. It's going to use this name, but then use these colors. Kind of goofy, but it's a cool little feature I found in the wheels section. So again, we'll reload the store items. Then when you go to your trim, as you can see, there's the painted steel, chrome, stainless steel, and then you got, like I said, the John Deere green and the steel. It's just differentiating the color. You don't have to do that. It would just basically start at white and go down. It just gives you that option. And it's still showing it as a color, but we're actually tricking it, and it's actually a material. But not a big deal because we're going to come in here and add that color now. So basically, we're just going to grab Design Material Configurations 2. In fact, this one might be easier. Let's just grab this line because it's more along the lines of the color that we want. Paste that in, and this one's going to be trim color. This one you do want default colors true. We do need these lines here, like so. We want to make sure we change that to 1. So same thing, we got our material and we have our parameters set. Now we do need to make sure that we go from 2 to 3. Now here's a very important thing. It doesn't matter where it is in your XML, it goes by number. If you try to do color as 2 and trim or your material as 3, it's gonna overwrite. It's confusing, and when I tried figuring this out, I had the same issue because I was just trying to do different things and not doing it in sequence. Material needs to be like your parent, and this needs to be the child, if that makes any sense. You don't want to have material being underneath color, because then the color overrides the material. It is very confusing, but that's just how it works. So whenever you do this, you need to have your material call out first, then the next configuration, which is 3, would be your color. And if I remember when we looked, this maxes us out. Like, we can't go any more on color or configurations to do what we're trying to do. You can do design material and scroll through and do colors and material, but its scroll through would be kind of goofy. So this kind of maxes out on this guy. So you can basically have 2 materials and 2 colors. Yeah. So what we're going to do, trim color. Keep getting off subject. Now what I want to do is I want to actually since it's secondary, which doesn't matter because it's all going to be white. That's the only bad thing about having to do this custom like this. I do want to kind of change it around though, as red being your first selection and yellow being your second. And I do want to, just for the heck of it, Control C, Control V. I do want to put white in there. I like having a description. Come back down here. White, red, yellow. Okay, so that is actually very simple to do. We do need to come in here and add the 3. If we don't put the 3 in there, it's not going to work. It's going to actually mess up our configuration as well on the other sections. So we have design, material, 3 configurations, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So we're going to hit save, come into this guy. We're going to reload the store items so our XML takes place, and here we go. We have tank material up here, tank color, trim material, trim color. So again, you want chrome, straight up chrome, trim material. You could do, say, brushed, and then trim color, green. I mean, and you can do whatever you want, but there you go. So we have tank material, tank color, trim material, trim color, and like I said, that maxes you out. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, I believe. But if you want to do it this route, you're only going to be able to do 2 materials and 2 colors, if that makes any sense. That's why really it's kind of goofy having this little this little guy up here being brushed steel, which is so small you can't really see it anyway. But I thought this was a cool little idea. Like I said, that's actually went faster than I expected. We're only about 38 minutes, but if you have any questions, as usual, feel free to shout out on Discord. If you have to do a YouTube, do that. I can just get back to everyone a little faster on the Discord channel. It's a little quicker turnaround, not having to open up the YouTube and scroll through all the different comments. But it is helpful if people are just scrolling through YouTube to have the comments there. So anyway, again, hopefully I didn't confuse you too much, too many ums and back and forth and trying to figure out what's going on myself, but I feel like I had it pretty much set up in a way to do a decent tutorial. Yeah, I hope you guys think this is cool as well, and feel free to contact me if I can help you out. You guys have a good one. Thanks.